if you're just now getting up and at 'em, we're glad that you're up with us and going to be a part of the Blitz the entire day. We got a special show lined up for you. We're asking you to help us salute the coach that kind of helped us keep hope alive. In other words, Bryant was gone and Saban was yet to come, and there in the middle was Coach Gene Stallings. As if you have not heard, on this past weekend, he had a really serious heart attack. And so today, I think we always wait till people are gone before we tell them what they mean to us. So today's show is for you to help me send Coach Stallings well wishes. You can call in, tell us well wishes, wish him well, get better, and all of those things, as well as what he means to you. And we're going to take these different audio clips, combine them, and send them out to Coach Stallings. I'm going to let Ryan Fowler give us an update, and I'll give a little bit more of what that update is after you hear from him. But it was really a serious heart attack, but he's only a man. He's doing well. And it's going to be about a 3-minute clip. But, hey, want you to know from someone that talked to someone directly connected with Coach Stallings last night, and that's Coach Ryan. That's Coach Ryan. That's the game host, Ryan Fowler. But I still have to do what I have to do every day. Hey, let's remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Be the difference you want to see in the world today. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, and serve someone, because you never know when that moment is going to be the last moment you have. But I'm glad to hear that Coach Stallings is on the amend. And this is the latest update that Ryan Fowler gave on yesterday, and I'll add to that when we come back after this clip.
Hey, welcome back into the game here in Tuscaloosa, and we're going to give you an update here on Coach Stallings. The reason why I took that break is I want to get to his publicist and to be able to find out. And I just spoke with her. She literally just hung up the phone for Miss Ruth Ann. And, when you read the verbiage, it is correct that he did have a serious heart attack last Friday evening. He was transferred to Baylor. And one of the things that I was not, I was unsure about, Baylor is, I guess, one of the top heart institutes when we talk about it in the country. So Baylor, obviously, when we talk about Baylor University, the medical center there, they did find the blockage and they installed a stent, which is just a miracle. When you talk about stents, and I don't want to save this for another day, but the person who created stents and basically saves you from having open heart surgery to replace an artery or vein when we talk about protecting the heart. Coach Stallings is on a ventilator, but a lot of that is because, according to his publicist, is to, as we know, Coach Stallings, a honorary guy that doesn't like to listen to doctors, as he's told us multiple times, and doesn't like to listen to Miss Ruth Ann. The ventilator is there to kind of keep Coach Stallings in check. He wants it taken out. They're not going to take it out, so that's good. Keep him in rest for a couple of days. But he is responsive, and according to his publicist that I just spoke to just a couple of minutes ago, literally. I hung up the phone as the music was beginning to play. His publicist told me that they are expecting a recovery as much as you can at his age. He's in his early 80s, and certainly we'll lift up Coach Stallings, and we'll ask our Savior to touch him, and we still believe in that. Obviously, he has got Coach Stallings through many, many situations here. This is now 2 strokes and a heart attack, but they're very optimistic that he'll recover fine. Stents are simply amazing, and it's how God uses smart people to create inventions to prolong life and to do that. So Coach Stallings, he is in Baylor, so he's in Waco there, but he is he's wanting the ventilator taken out. So that's what I almost clapped when I heard that, because that's the Coach Stallings that we know. So that's what I know right now. He did have a serious heart attack. In a couple of days, it was very, according to what his publicist told me, the first Friday and Saturday was very difficult. Friday and Saturday was very difficult for Coach Stallings. and then he was able to get transferred to Baylor, and one of the top heart hospitals in the country. And so they were able to define the problem, the blockage, and open that up with a stent. And he is expected to make a recovery. So obviously, when you have a heart attack, the damage is there. But at his age, they're expecting that he will. So they're going to wean him off of the ventilator. So he's complaining to the doctors and the nurses, as he tells us often here on this program. He's not a very good patient. I can imagine only trying to keep Coach Stallings down. But some of that was for his precautions. So certainly thinking about our friend and someone that we're very close to. So I just spoke with his publicist, and we'll see exactly if I can provide any other updates. But she had literally just hung up the phone for Miss Ruth Ann. So certainly praying for Coach Stallings as we move forward.
We're definitely praying for you, Coach Stallings. This is a show that is dedicated to the Alabama fans' opportunity to wish you well, Coach, in your recovery. And, of course, I gladly wish you well and tell you what you mean to me. If you've listened to my show, you've heard me say this before, but I want to put it as a part of this. So first and foremost, Coach, we're praying for you. We're praying for a quick and speedy recovery. Coach, we need you to listen to the doctors. Take your time. Be patient. I know that this weekend and next weekend are big days. And we're praying that there's a miracle recovery and that you're able to be a part of being honored in all those ways. But do not pull a ventilator out. Be a good patient and get some rest. So we're praying for you, and we're wishing you a speedy recovery in the hand and grace and mercy of our Savior Jesus Christ. Also, what you mean to me, Coach, is listen. I had some key people as influencers in my life. But none more influential than you, Coach, the man that I am today in many ways, and how I love my wife, how I love my children, and how I'm there for my family, stems back to the model and the example that you shared and that you gave to me and so many of my teammates on how to love your wife, how to love your children, how to be there for them, and then how to treat people outside of that circle as well. So many thanks to you, Coach, and who you are and what you mean to me. And I want to encourage you and let you know that your legacy lives on in the life that I live, and you have many, many more to come. But I want you to know that I've tried to live by the example that you modeled many times, and I've tried to pass that example on to my sons and my daughters and how they should expect a man to treat them. You're much more than a coach to me, and I do appreciate what you did as a coach as well, that national championship, and really looking forward to sharing with you on next Saturday as we honor they honor the 25th anniversary of the 1992 national championship team. I want to encourage you now as listeners you can post on Facebook and I'll read them on the air. You can also call in to 205-342-9904. Let us know what your thoughts are, wishing Coach Stallings well as he moves through this time of surgery and post-surgery recovery, having a stent put in. James, when I think about Coach Stallings, and I did an interview with a gentleman who writes for the media guide for the ball games, and just did this interview. Sometimes when you do interviews, you don't know what part's going to make it into the article or not. But he asked me a question about why do I feel like the 92 team was. He said it's almost like that they use that as kind of a milestone and a marker. And he said, why do you think that is? And I said, well, part of it, I think, comes from the fact that after Coach Bryant, people wondered if Alabama could get back to that level. And it took, from 79 national title to the 92 national title for Alabama to get back there. So that was huge. That was one of the reasons I think it went so long, because people wondered if we could get back to that place of national championship prominence. Well, then after we won it, and then we didn't get back there, and then it was 5 years, and then it was 8 years, and 10 years, and 12 years, and 15. People like, oh my God, can we get back again? And so I think the 92 team kind of has that special place because we're kind of the bridge team. Between the greatest two coaches of all time, there sits the 92 team. And I think that is the reason it means so much to the Alabama fans and everything. So, hey, reminding you that, hey, we're wishing Coach Stallings well wishes and telling him what he means to us. We're going to do it while he can still hear it and appreciate it and enjoy it. We're getting a jump start on A&M and on Alabama in honoring Coach Stallings. So you can call 205-342-9904.
And before we get to Ray Todd, I'm sure you might have seen this tweet from John Wisdom through our Tide 1029 Twitter account. Y'all, Gene Stallings is one of the last of a rare breed. Losing him the week of the A&M game would be devastating for us both. # Junction Boy.
Yeah, because, it's kind of ironic that you got the Texas A&M honoring him because of him beating Coach Bryant and then being tied in with Coach Bryant there with the Junction Boys, beating Coach Bryant there, and then being at Alabama as well. So, hey, you can get in on the program, 205-342-9904, or you can post your thoughts on Facebook, or, as James just pointed out, you can tweet at Tide 1029 FM. Ray, welcome in to the Blitz. What's your well wishes and what Coach Stallings means to you? Ray, are you there?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
Go ahead. You're on there.
All right. Yeah. All right, Martin. The man was amazing. I don't see how he had time to do the things that he did,
Yeah.
And when you were saying something about praying, when you were praying for him about not pulling everything out, the ventilator and being a good patient, I was just chuckling, that is just like that man, he is so tough, and he was the exemplified to me, Bear Bryant, more so than any other coach we've ever had here at Alabama. The way he did things, but the things he did for other people, so many people don't know about that. I worked at Bryce Hospital, and I asked Carl, the university, about seeing if he would come out there and speak to some patients who are about to get ready to get out of the hospital, and about life and about being down and out, and how the outlook was so much brighter. But anyway, the university said he was one of the most popular coaches we've ever had. And even after he left here, they had a secretary just assigned for him, to take calls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the secretary said, now, he'll come. Said it may take a while, but says, you write him and tell him what you want. And she said that he would respond, he would personally write you back, and that he would come. And sure enough, he did, but he was just an amazing man. And I chuckle about some of the things that some of the things he said. I remember him saying about a field goal kicker in practice, and he goes out there and the field goal kicker started missing missing him, and he said, "Coach, you make me nervous." And he said, "Well, something I'm gonna be at all the games, you know."
Yes. Oh, I've heard him tell that story before. Ray. Hey, do you want to say anything as far as directly to him, wishing him well? We're going to send this to him as well.
Oh well, man, he has just meant so much to.
No, I won't talk directly to him. I mean, this is directly to him.
Oh, is it direct?
Yeah, we're gonna send it to him. So he's gonna hear everything you said. Go ahead and wish him well wishes, whatever you want to say to him.
Coach Stallings, I just wanted to tell you how much that you are loved here in the state of Alabama. Of all the things you have done for others, so many people don't know, and may just God bless you. That you're a heck of a man. And I want to say this now, Ruth, your wife, she is a remarkable woman herself, of all the things she's done and in the background that no one ever knows. But we just love you and appreciate you, and are just asking God for healing of you, and do cooperate with the doctors. You know, do what? Go ahead and listen to them now, man. Don't be out there riding a tractor when you're not supposed to be. But we love you, and God bless you.
All right, thanks, Ray.
Solid.
Thanks, Trey.
All right.
All right, that was Ray Todd wishing Coach Stallings well and praying for him. You can do the same. 205-342-9904 is where you can do it on the phone, or you can post your thoughts on Facebook Live. We'll read those comments, or you can go to @Tide1029FM, and James or I will read those comments. They'll all be added. Hey, write them directly to him. Speak them directly to him. Address him directly, not me. The people, just tell him what he means to you and wish him well. You can be a part of this special edition of cheering Coach Stallings up after the serious heart attack, but he's on the road to recovery, and we want to be a part of that recovery process. As we go to break here, reminding you that this is the Blitz on Top 102.9 and 100.9. We're going ahead today and giving Coach Stallings some cheer up as he recovers in the hospital from that serious heart attack. He's on a ventilator, but if you haven't heard, the ventilator is more to help him have a speedier recovery. And, of course, he's being stubborn, as Coach Stallings is notoriously known to do. So we're encouraging you. You can talk directly to Coach Stallings. We're going to send this audio to him, directly to him. So when you come on, wish him well. Speak to him, not to me. Speak to him. Tell him well wishes as well as what he means to you. 205-342-9904. Or you can bring your thoughts courtesy of Facebook Live or at Tide 102.9 FM. Super Joe, welcome into the Blitz. What's your well wishes for Coach Stallings, and what you got to say about him?
Well, I wish him well recovery, and I got to say this. I have all the respect for him. You know,
No, talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to him.
Coach Stallings, I want to say this. You know, I got all the respect in the world for you. You know, especially the story I heard about how you stood by Coach Bryant on the day y'all had to suspend your name. Now, the story I got was that the other coaches did not want your name suspended, but you did the right thing, and you asked Coach Bryant the question. What you did that was unnecessary. He said, out of fire, and you said, exactly, there it is. And so one thing I got to say, you showed dedication, and nobody was above consequences. And what you said to me on the radio, I tell you what you said, you just can't get up there and start doing what you want. And so, you know, I have to stand by, and I have to say, I have all the respect for your stand. You know, and I say this, you have every right. You had every right to stand by Coach Brown like you did and make it clear that nobody's above consequences. And by you being the man that's full of dedication, you know, I got to say that I have nothing but respect and love for you. And Coach, and I wish you well, and I wish you well. And my prayers are going up to you and stuff, and I want to say take care and you will recover.
All right. Anything else on your mind, Super Joe?
Well, like I said, you know, we got a game coming up, and we'll talk about that game later and roll time and go on get to the next caller.
All right. Thanks, Super Joe. Appreciate that. All right. Phone lines are open, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. You can get your well wishes in to Coach Stallings. Tell him what he means to you. And as I said, we are sending these directly to him. So if you have something you want to share, 205-342-9904, you can call in directly and do that. Or you can post on Facebook Live at Martin Houston Personal, and we'll read it directly to him, or you can go to @Tot1029 FM.
In fact, we got another simple well wish from Ron Wolfley through our Tide 1029 Twitter account. Simply, love you, Coach.
All right. Hey, and it can be simply that it can be just well wishes, love you, Coach, whatever it is you want. Or you can share one of your favorite memories like Super Joe just did, telling us that the famous suspension of Joe Namath. Most of the coaches didn't agree or didn't want to stand, but Coach Stallings said, and that represents who he is and who he was as a coach and who he is as a man. So I just think back to one of my fun memories of Coach and Coach. As I said earlier, I'm wishing you well. But Coach, one of my fondest memories of you is when we were getting ready. I got married under Coach Curry, and my anniversary was coming up, and it's a Wednesday practice. Now, Thursday practices were pretty light, okay? I mean, I got married on November 23rd. It was a Thanksgiving the day I got married, but the next year, the 23rd, was not going to be on Thanksgiving. And I was wanting to celebrate my anniversary, and I asked you, Coach, I said, Coach, are you going to let me be off for my anniversary? And in your typical fashion, you looked at me and you said, Martin, how many will this be for you, man? And I said, Coach, this would be number one. This would be number one. I thought it was a big deal. And you looked at me and you said, man, when you get about 25 of them, let me know. So, and so needless to say, Coach, I was at practice that day, the next day, and every day. But what was really awesome is that you and I got to share last year together when they brought us back and they had the big celebration for you. And I reminded you, Coach, of that moment. And James, you'll get a kick out of this. I go up to Coach and I said, Coach, remember I asked you for that day off? I said, well, it's been 27 years. And he said, well, God almighty, man, take the day off. So, but hey, that's our coach. And, he did so many great things. And like I said, this is not a memorial. This is a celebration and a well wish for him. You can be a part of it. 205-342-9904. We'll continue to include highlights from some of the plays and key plays that happened during his coaching career. You can get your thoughts in 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904, or you can do it also on Facebook Live. Coming back, we're going to do just a buy sale segment, and you can still call in during that segment, but we're going to do buy sale, which is a part of our program, but we're going to have a special edition of that, and it'll tie in with the program. So, hey, the phone lines are open, 205-342-9904, or you can post on Facebook Live, and we will continue to get those memories read aloud or at Tot1029. Hey, when we come back, we'll continue this salute to Coach Stallings, well wishes, and what he means to us. If you're just now joining the program, we're doing well wishes. Cheer up to Coach Stallings, recovering from the heart attack on a ventilator, more for his precaution and his assistance than the medical side of it. He's being stubborn, they say. So just remember to keep him. But they had great news from yesterday, the latest update, great news from yesterday. So please make sure you continue to lift him up in prayer. And if you want to give a well wish right here live on the air, speak directly to Coach Stallings, you're welcome to do that, 205-342-9904. Or you can post on Facebook Live Martin Houston Personal, or at Tide 1029 FM. And Robert Saucier, former player here at Alabama, didn't play for Coach Stallings, but Coach, he had this to say: I didn't get to play for you, but every time I met you, you were always the definition of class, and I love talking with you. So you can do that, and we'll read it. Once again, that's Robert Saucier making those comments. So, hey, keep them coming. While we wait to hear from you, we're going to go ahead and get into buy sell today. Today's buy sell. We're just going to make it a Coach Stallings tribute. Wishing you well, Coach. Love you, and thanks for all you've done, and will continue to do for me personally and for the University of Alabama and the state of Alabama.
Absolutely. We'll get right into it, of course. So we all know Gene Stallings won Alabama's first national championship in the post-Bryant era in 1992, 70 games a year. We could rattle off the accomplishments at Alabama all the fans and every one of us here certainly know during his 7 seasons at the University of Alabama. What I want to go back to what John Wisdom pointed out as far as our first buy or sell, that Gene Stallings is one of the last of a rare breed of coaches and people from his era. Buy or sell?
Yeah, he does represent an era that is bygone for the most part. Meaning not just age-wise, James, but Coach represents the coaches the way I remember them. Now, there's a few coaches that still remind me of that type of coach, and one of them is walking the sidelines at the capstone. Stallings represented an era of that hard driving, maximize your player, and sometimes in order to maximize that player, you had to push them to the brink of where they thought they could go. And so Coach Stallings represented to me that coach that he was going to be extremely hard on you. He wasn't going to take any excuses. He was going to be disciplined in his approach, consistent in his approach, and he wasn't really worried about what the outside voices said. He wasn't worried about whether it was going to hurt your feelings or not. He was going to maximize it, and he maximized it. Sometimes in today's culture, they would say he's too hard. But in the era he was growing up in, and in this era too, the way he did it, to me, was the right way. And I wish and I pray that my son and my daughters and my grandchildren all run into individuals like that, because the other side of Coach Stallings, James, was he was equally as loving and concerned about you as an individual and representing your family, yourself, and this university in a class way. So he had the balance. A lot of guys don't have that balance. They're either way too hard or they're way too soft. But Coach Stallings walked that line. He walked it with precision and expertise. So I'm buying that he is one of the rare breeds that's out there.
So buy or sell, coaching and really society in general, from that matter, could use a lot more of Gene Stallings' overall philosophy on life.
Buy. Can I say buy enough? We need some more Gene Stallings of the world. We need a lot more Gene Stallings of the world. You know, you've heard me, he and I laugh and joke about, I told him that I was going to send my daughters out to his ranch, James, when it came time for them to get ready to get married, because one of the things his son-in-laws all had to do was build a fence. And he said, you can always build a fence, bro. You can always build a fence. So regardless of whether you need one or not, and the whole concept there was one of the most important things that he believed a young man should have when marrying his daughter was a work ethic. If you got a work ethic, you can accomplish things even when times get hard. And that mindset of we want to make things easier for our kids, better for our kids, really should be translated. We want to make things easier for our kids. And that's just the wrong approach. And Coach Stallings was one of those that if we had more men like him out there, I think we'd have less children, less kids, and less individuals like what we saw out in Las Vegas, because people don't grow up to be 64. They grow up as kids, and that work ethic and things that he does would help with that.
So let's go into a little Alabama football history here. Of course, right before Gene Stallings arrived at Alabama, there was still at least a little bit of a taste of winning, but certainly not to the national championship level or really to a consistently high level as far as being a top among the elites in college football. So Gene Stallings' arrival at Alabama came at a much-needed time in the football program's history at that point, buy or sell.
It definitely came at a much-needed time. Of course, you know, Coach Curry recruited me, and so Coach. Someone asked me the other day, who do you like more, Coach Curry or Coach Stallings? And I said, Coach Curry and Coach Stallings, because they both represented something different. Coach Curry came in and was winning, but Alabama was not ready for post-Bryant. And even though he was winning, we never felt like we were winning. I mean, you know what I mean? The fans didn't feel it. The players, what they felt from the fans was different. And, of course, people say it was just because of the Alabama game. But what Coach Stallings brought was a moving forward in progress, yet a tie back to Coach Bryant. So he appeased that gap that was there, and then we went out and began, after a rough start, we began to win. So it is definitely a buy. His arrival, you've heard me say, it was a bridge, James, to the past and to what we have in the future. Could you imagine if you remove that national title and there was a 30-year window, post Coach Bryant to Coach Saban? I don't know where the program would have gone had that not happened when it happened. So he definitely came at the right time.
So, of course, one of the crowning achievements during Gene Stallings' era was that win over Miami and New Orleans. And still to this day, you can consider that night, that New Year's night in 1993, as far as one of those moments in college football that kind of changed the course of history as far as what Miami did at that time and what we've seen afterward over the last, quarter century now of college football. So just with the fan base, buy or sell, that night in New Orleans against Miami in 1993 is still one of the most satisfying games for the fan base. True or buy or sell?
Well, you know, when you look at the timing of that and the impact of it, wasn't just that game, the impact of the season, James. That was the 100th year of Alabama football. It was the first ever SEC title game, and you talk about how different people view things. We had won 20 games in a row, and we weren't even still a top 2 team. We had to wait on other people to lose to get to. We ended the season 11-1, came back the next year with virtually everybody on board, and guess what? We were still not even top 5. We were like the 9th ranked team. Could you imagine that today? But you know what? I know a lot of fans love that team, James, but there was a lot of fans who didn't think we would beat Miami. I'm talking about diehard Alabama fans, but Coach Stallings had convinced us, and we saw film, but he had convinced us that the best team on that field was Alabama, and that if we did what we were supposed to do, we would walk away with a national title, and we did, and it changed both Alabama and Miami. Miami didn't recover, and they've had a brief moment of recovery, but nothing sustained, and then Alabama – it served, I know it sounds crazy now, but it served to sustain Alabama for, a 17-year drought without Coach Stallings, without Coach Saban being here. So it definitely, I'm buying the impact it had to change those fan bases.
But also, you look at Coach Stallings' tenure in Tuscaloosa, John Mark Stallings was a defining point throughout his time in Tuscaloosa, as well as the establishment of the Rise Center. So going forward, buy or sell, Gene Stallings' true impact long after he leaves this earth will be felt, as far as will be remembered as well, more so off the field than on the field in Tuscaloosa.
I think, without a shadow of a doubt, what Coach Stallings did as a coach was unbelievable. But what he did off the field and the impact of how he raised John Mark and how he loved for him and cared for him, that's what I was sharing earlier, the impact that had on me. There's a lot of dads out there who are athletes, James, and they want their son to take after them. And you have to understand, Coach Stallings was around the Dallas Cowboys. He was around the University of Alabama, two of the greatest coaches ever, two of the greatest programs ever. And when John Mark was born, he didn't have what so many other athletes want. He had a son, but this son couldn't live out in his legacy. And you look at who Gene Stallings is today, and he would say it, I believe without a shadow of a doubt, the man he is today was the result of John Mark and what John Mark meant to him. But I can say the man I am today is directly tied to John Mark and who Coach Stallings is. And I'm willing to bet there's hundreds of thousands of men and women out there today who would directly link their lives to Coach Stallings and what he meant and how he lived and how he carried himself. And long after his time has passed upon this earth, my children's children will be impacted by that. And I believe that if everybody could do that, there would be many, many stories telling that exact same story. So Coach Stallings' legacy lives on long after the football days are gone and in the lives of individuals all around Alabama and the world as a result of John Mark and Coach Stallings. So, Coach, we love you. We thank you. We're encouraging you, if you're listening right now, if you want to add a thought or a comment to Coach Stallings, get well. We're going to send this show to him, encouraging him. We love him. If you have any thoughts, comments, post them on Facebook Live or go ahead and call 205-342-9904. This is the Blitz on Tide 102.9 and 100.9.
Curry is back in the lineup. He missed that last series for Alabama. They worked on him some. He's fixed up. He's back. Miami now going to work out of the shotgun from the 29. They're down by 14. And Beretta intercepted by Teague. George Teague to the end zone. Touchdown.
Welcome back into the Blitz. And, of course, that was a great memory of Alabama versus Miami as it became evident that we would be bringing home number 12. So Coach Stallings bringing back to the capstone the national title, the only coach other than Coach Bryant and Coach Saban to win a national title in the last 50-plus years at the University of Alabama, recovering from a heart attack on a ventilator, but that's more for precaution and to help him than it is anything else. We got a couple other people, well wishes. Virgil Williams says that, good morning, Coach. Good day. Praying for you this morning and your family. Hope everyone has a blessed day. Also, Jason Waldrop, get well soon, Coach. Thank you for everything you did for Bama. You can post your thoughts and comments on Facebook Live and have them as a part of the conversation, or call 205-342-9904. You know, I was reading, there's a book called Another Season, A Coach's Story of Raising an Exceptional Son. This is an older book, but, you know, just reading this, Coach, kind of reminds me of who you are. When beloved University of Alabama football coach Gene Stallings' son was born with Down syndrome and a serious heart defect, doctors predicted he wouldn't live to see his first birthday, and urged Coach Stallings and his wife, Miss Ruth Ann, to institutionalize him. But for Gene and Ruth Ann, that was not an option. Johnny quickly won the hearts and adoration of the Stallings family and everyone who took the time to know him, and proving the doctors wrong by leading in an active and very, very fulfilling and engaging life. He became a vital and important part of his family, his community, and his father's career, with intimate glimpses of the family life and thrilling football anecdotes. Another season, a coach's story raising an exceptional son. You'll find a great read. But, when I think about that story and how there's a passage of scripture that says all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And I don't know the reasons and the whys or anything like that. But I do know this, that the world was a better place because of John Mark and because of Coach Stallings' acceptance of that challenge and opportunity to raise John Mark. Him and Ruth Ann, and he always calls them the girls. What they did in loving John Mark is what I try to talk about every day. Every day I start the Blitz off by saying, this is the day that the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, and be the difference you want to see in the world today. And that's exactly what this family did. And that's exactly what Coach Stallings did with John Mark. But it didn't stop with John Mark. Now, as players, James, we used to love for John Mark to come to practice. Because when he came to practice, we got the softer side of Coach Stallings. I'm not sure if sometimes some of the other coaches and players didn't call Ruth Ann and say, hey, is it possible for you to get John Mark over to practice today?
Would Coach Stallings have given you the day off if John Mark was there on the anniversary?
He maybe. If I could have gotten to John Mark and said, John Mark, would you talk to your dad and tell him that he needs to let me have off of practice for my anniversary? John Mark would have been able to get him to do that, but he definitely could have gotten him to maybe let me go a few minutes early. But yeah, that was always the case. If John Mark was around, Coach Stallings was a kinder, gentler soul. Not meaning. And listen, as I said earlier, when I look at Coach Stallings and what he meant to me. Coach, I'm going to close it out with it. Coach, I cannot, there's not words adequate enough for me to explain what you've meant to me and what you continue to mean to me. And so as we get ready to go off the air with the Blitz, we are wishing you well. We're wishing you a speedy recovery. We're praying that all goes well, no setbacks or hang-ups or malfunctions or anything like that. Coach, do what the doctors tell you. Be a good patient. Give Ruth Ann a hug and a kiss for me and take it easy on them. You're going to be back. You're going to be whole. Just take your time and enjoy. Never mind. I'm not even going to ask you to enjoy because I know you're not. Take the time and recover, Coach, because we want to have many, many more years with you. And I close with this. One of the greatest things that I've yet to talk to Coach Stallings one single time since I graduated that he doesn't ask me this. Martin, are you still preaching the gospel? And Coach, your example of dedication and focus and determination and walking out your purpose through whatever life brings, whether it's ups, downs, good or bad, challenges or opportunities, the model you set for me still pays dividends today. So, yes, Coach, if you were sitting right across from me or I was sitting across from you, you probably would ask that question again. And, Coach, yes, I'm still preaching the gospel. And thank you for the man that I am today because of the man you were then 20-something years ago and the man that you still are today. We love you, Coach. We thank you. And we're praying for a speedy recovery and can't wait to see you next week in Tuscaloosa as we celebrate 25 years of being a champion. And you've been a champion for your entire life. And thank you for sharing just a little bit of yourself with me and so many other of the Alabama fans. Roll Tide, Coach. We love you and hope to see you soon.